What's going on, everybody? Showing up the King here, and I'm here to do a discussion video. And if you saw in the title, you know what it's about. That's why I had to bring out my trusty friend here. This discussion will be about Grimmjow, Jaegerjaquez from the Bleach series. I decided to do this discussion video on him in particular because he's had such an impact in the Bleach anime as well as the manga. Out of all the other Espada that's been shown thus far, he's probably been the most prominent and the most discussed, as far as just being just like the yin and yang to Ichigo, even with, Ukiura, who he ends up fighting, who is much stronger than Grimmjow. For some reason, when people think about Bleach and Ichigo, and, one of their best battles that they always talk about is every fight he had with Grimmjow. So this discussion will talk a little bit about my introduction to Grimmjow, as well as some history on him, and as well as the future of Grimmjow, because if some have already speculated, it is widely known that Grimmjow will be returning to the manga in some shape or form. We don't know yet, but with the story of Bleach going right now, I'm hoping within the next month or two we'll find out if Grimmjow is back and what sort of advancements has he made since his defeat from Ichigo. But before I get started, I just wanted to introduce you guys to my friend here. This is an exact replica, a working replica, very sharp. This is Grimmjow's, I guess their sword. I guess you just say sword because they don't really have a Zanpakuto. And sword is called Pantera. I'll unsheath it for you, as you can see from the front. Let's see, I'll show it to you guys. From the front, you can see the handle is Grimmjow's, and the front as well. And I'll unsheath it for you real quick. It's very nice, very nice. Like I said, a huge Bleach fan. Definitely had to get this sword. It is magnificent. Like I said, again, it's very sharp. I'll put that back away. Maybe one day I'll do an actual full... I'm tripping and put it in backwards. So maybe one day I'll do a full sword review. But anyway, Grimmjow's sword. Let's get into this discussion. Alright, so my introduction to Grimmjow was actually kind of funny. Like I said before in my Bleach discussion view, when I talked a little bit about what Bleach meant to me and how I got into it, one of the biggest things for me was the fight after the Soul Society arc. Ichigo defeated Byakuya, Aizen shown his true colors and went off to Wako Mundo with Tosen and Gin, Igamaru. They took the Hogokyu and they left. Then, the whole thing, Ichigo's still trying to figure out what's going on with his inner hollow, and just, everyone wondering what's going to happen next, like what's Aizen's next plan. And, the first major fight that you see with Grimmjow is when he shows up out of impatience to Soul Society with his Fracciones. And, a lot of things happen, like just getting that first introduction to Grimmjow, like, to me, was like just fantastic for, again, multiple reasons. Because when I first got the series, I had got the pretty much everything up to when Ukiura and Yami showed up for the first time, and Ichigo chopped off of Yami's arm. After that, I had to wait weekly to start watching the anime as it was shown. And just as soon as I saw Grimmjow, I was just like, wow, this dude is kind of crazy. He had his Arankar bone, sticking out on the side of his face. He had the cool wavy blue hair. I mean, dude just looked like he was a badass from the beginning. And of course, he didn't disappoint. That first fight between him and Ichigo was a massacre. Like, I mean, Grimmjow completely destroyed Ichigo. I mean, the only thing Ichigo was able to do in that entire battle was hit him with a nice Tenshiha Getsuga Tensho that ended up, marking up his whole chest, his arm, his face. Everything was all messed up. And, just getting introduced to that character in general was just like, wow. And I know I saw this on another video. There's a part in a video where Grimmjow, he didn't even unsheath his sword. He was literally just whooping Ichigo's ass with his bare hands. And there's a scene where he's literally just like punching the shit out of Ichigo. Like, he whooped this dude's ass. And it's just like, it was just between his movements, his mannerisms, this dude was just such a badass. Like, there's a scene where he's in the sky and he's like hopping around like a boxer and just shoots down this like flying to Ichigo, breaking the sound barrier, which shows that, you know, Grimmjow was definitely faster than the speed of sound. You know, he broke the sound barrier. It was, the dude is a monster. So that at that point right there kind of made me a Bleach fan forever, and that's why I mentioned it, because after that first fight I saw, I was hooked. I was like, I don't know what an Arrancar is, but if they are all like him, I'm sold. So I just thought that was just that for me, like at that moment in time, sold me on Bleach from then on out, and I was like, I'm a fan forever. Like everything else I saw beforehand with the Shinigami, I was like, I love it. But after seeing Ichigo versus Grimmjow round 1, I was sold. So then, of course, to find out that there was a part 2 to their battle, because what happens is Grimmjow is punished by Tosen and Aizen for breaking orders and going after Ichigo when they weren't supposed to. And Tosen cuts off Grimmjow's arm. Now, to find out towards the end of things that Tosen, you know, because we know how Tosen goes out, I honestly think Grimmjow could have taken Tosen, but I think what the punishment he would have gotten from Aizen didn't make it worth it. So Tosen cuts off Grimmjow's arm, and he ends up and goes back and fight Ichigo again for a second time. And at this point in time, you know, Ichigo has been training. You know, he's got his hollow mask thing working. He can keep it up for about 30 seconds, if I'm not mistaken. And, you know, Grimmjow comes to you know, where they live in human world, and the first thing he does is go after, break rank, and just go straight for Ichigo. And again, you can tell, like, when those two are in the room together, there's gonna be a problem. So, you know, Grimmjow goes after Ichigo for the second time, and they fight again. And this time, you know, Ichigo does a little bit better, but, you know, he transforms with his hollow mask and gives Grimmjow a pretty good ass whooping, up until the point where his mask breaks, where Grimmjow then proceeds to whoop Ichigo's ass again with one arm. Like, this dude is just a monster. So again, like I said, I'm not gonna go through all many details. We know the history between these two guys, and we know how it all culminates with a battle in Wako Mundo with Ichigo with his full mask and Grimmjow releasing his release state. And that fight alone, I think when I read about it, it was voted like number 3 on the best fights in Bleach ever. I would probably say for me would probably be either number 1 or number 2. I'm trying to think, out of all the Arrancar fights, I definitely think it's number 1 for me. Even his battle against Ukiura when he transforms into that super crazy hollow, it was a cool fight. I was like a destructiveness going on, but it's just something about when Ichigo fought Grimmjow for that third time, and how they were just going back and forth beating the shit out of each other. It just did it for me. Like, you could tell, like, it was almost shades of like Goku versus Vegeta, like where those two know each other so well, and they're overall hate for it. Because like, even when he was fighting Ichigo, Grimmjow said that, you know, you're not here to save Orihime, you're here to fight me, you are just like me, and you're enjoying this as much as I am. That to me was like the best fight in Bleach, hands down. Like, it's fantastic. If you haven't noticed, Grimmjow is my favorite villain throughout the entire series, and as it's been told already, he is supposed to be back soon, and I kind of wanted to speculate a little bit with you guys to kind of figure out a few things about his return. Now, I have my theories, and I'm going to give you my theories, and I want to get your thoughts on it. That's kind of the biggest part of this discussion is. My feeling is that Grimmjow will come back stronger. What I think is going to happen is, I do think he is the one that killed Kyrge, the Stern Ritter that Juabak left in Wake of Mundo to take care of things. I do think that was Grimmjow that cut him down. Now, the details as to why, maybe he was just pissed off. Maybe he was testing his strength. You know, we don't know that yet, but I definitely think that what Grimmjow has been doing since being cut down is he's probably been training. He's probably been devouring hollows left and right since the battle. I mean, because it's been a while since, you know, he's been cut down. But we all know that alone, just eating more hollows, doesn't necessarily make you stronger. What I think and what I hope is that Grimmjow has learned how to do the second release similar to Ukiura's second release when he fought Ichigo. Because we've already seen that it can be done. We just only know that there's only been one person who's been able to do it. And I'm hoping that Grimmjow, through his training and through his determination, probably based off of trying to beat Ichigo, has figured out how to do his second release. I mean, that to me would just like blow my mind. Because again, not only would Grimmjow be a help against the Quincy's, which I don't necessarily know if he would help, but even if it's just to fight Ichigo square up again, and, you know, especially with Ichigo's transformations thus far, he would definitely need a significant power boost in order to stand up to Ichigo, or to stand up to anybody for that matter, since the, you know, the battles have, you know, subsided. But again, that's kind of where my theory is going on this right now, is that Grimmjow somehow learned how to figure out his second release. And what that would look like, God only knows, but I know it would be a badass thing, because again, this is Grimmjow we're talking about. But again, this is, you know, this is just my thoughts on the battle so far. I want to know what you guys think. Do you think it's plausible for Grimmjow to have a second release? Do you also think that Grimmjow was the best villain in Bleach thus far? Again, if you disagree, that's cool. I want to know what your best villain is. But also, I want to know what was your best fight scene thus far in Bleach. Comment in the section below. Thumbs up the video if you could. Also subscribe, because, you know, I love bringing good content to you guys. This is Showing Up the King. You guys have a fantastic day.